Let me start by welcoming all of you to this live session by Ease India Travel. I'm the founder. My name is Ritu. And today I wanted to talk about a very unique part of India, which is, according to me, going to be the next big tourism destination in India. So, you know that India is divided into north, south, east, and west. But there is also an area of India which is called the northeast. And please give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I just want to make sure that I'm audible and I'm clear. So there is a large part of India which is it is further away from the east, and we call it the northeastern part of India. And this part of India comprises of seven states, and they are also referred to as the Seven Sisters. Now, I'm going to talk about one of the largest states in this part of India. It's called Arunachal Pradesh. It's the largest state in terms of size, and it borders Bhutan and Tibet on one side, and it borders other parts of India on the other sides of the state. So, Arunachal, being the largest state in the northeastern part of India, is, um, according to me, like I said, the next frontier of for tourism in India. Now, the state is so large that it is not possible to cover the whole state in one trip. So, if you think that you would want to explore Arunachal Pradesh, you'd have to make several trips to the state to be able to do, each part of Arunachal. So, Arunachal itself is divided into north, south, east, and west. Now, having said that, it is not just the geographical location of Arunachal, which comprises Himalayas in the northern part of the state, but also the fact that Arunachal has 26 recognized tribes, which are recognized by the government of India. So that's an extremely large number. And believe you me, when I say 26 recognized tribes, still does not cover, many of the tribes which are so small that they're still not recognized. Now, tribes are recognized in India to be able to give them certain benefits, certain schemes, which are given to the, tribals in India. But for that particular reason, some of the tribes, because they're so small, some of the tribes are like just maybe 2,000, 3,000 people, that they are not even recognized. But these 26 recognized tribes of Arunachal Pradesh also comprises, they all have sub-tribes. They have, the sub-tribes have clans, they have sub-clans. And the most interesting thing is that each of these tribes has its own language. Each of these tribes has its own customs, its own culture, its own dress, its own, cuisine. And that is what makes Arunachal so unique and so beautiful. So if you consider that, India, if you are logging in from elsewhere and not from India, you would know that India is this hot pot of culture because every geographical location of India, and even within geographical locations of India, there are innumerable languages that are spoken, and everyone's, again, the culture, cuisine, clothing, everything is different. Now imagine putting that to a state in India. That's what Arunachal is all about. So it has 26 recognized tribes, and some of the tribes are so unique. They have their origins in the neighboring parts of Arunachal, which is Burma. Some tribes have their origin even in China, but for centuries now they have lived in India, and now they are part of the Indian state. Um, so today I want to talk about the parts of Arunachal that we cover tours in. So one of the most touristy parts of Arunachal is something I'm sure a lot of people here must have heard of. And if you have, you can give me a thumbs up. It is basically a part of Arunachal which is called Tawang, which is in the highlands, and it is where it is inhabited by a particular tribe. They border Bhutan, and they're all Buddhists. Now, Tawang is famous for its 600-year-old monastery. and it is actually currently the most touristy place in Arunachal that everybody, when you say Arunachal, the first place that comes to your mind is, these three places in Arunachal, which is Bomdila, Dirang, Tawang. So when, we have people coming to us asking us about Arunachal and its beauty and its diversity, I always say that going to Tawang is like touching the tip of the iceberg because Arunachal has so much more. And the parts that we cover, eastern side, we cover the southern side, we cover the western side. And believe me, you can't do this entire state in even 2 or 3 months. You need several trips to go and cover the entire state. But today I wanted to, okay, there's a question which it said, is it safe to travel in Arunachal? Yes, it is. It is part of India. There's a lot of presence of army because it borders Tibet, which is now part of China. But it's perfectly safe. Yes, there are some restrictions for foreigners to travel to Arunachal because of, our sharing a, this border with our neighbor, but absolutely no restrictions for Indians. So, the part of Arunachal that I want to talk about today is again an extremely distinct and unique part of Arunachal. Basically, this part of Arunachal is accessible from its neighboring state, which is Assam. And you can land up at an airport in Assam called Dibrugarh, and from there you can go to this part of Arunachal, which is more like the foothills. It doesn't have high mountain ranges, but it has again several tribes with very very distinctive culture, very distinctive cuisine, way of living, clothes. Everything is distinctive to each tribe inhabiting this area. So, as a travel company, we offer trips in Arunachal to places like I'm going to tell you some names. They may not make any sense to you right now, but if you have a pen and paper, please grab it and you can write the places that you could visit in Arunachal. So, of course, the most touristy is Bomdila, Dirang, Tawang. There is another beautiful place called Pasighat, which is again more of foothills and low hills. Then there is another place called Zero Valley, Ziro, that is again very close to the capital city, Itanagar. There is a place called that I'm talking about, which is Namsai district, again another part of Arunachal. And then there are parts of Arunachal that you need to really do a lot of road travel to reach. Again, these are parts of Arunachal which are bordering, China. So there are restrictions for foreigners, but no restrictions for Indian and Indian passport holders, I mean, Indian citizens. And so these are places called Mechuka. You must have heard of it, Mechuka. And, there's a place called Monigong, which is again, it's a border town. So there are a lot of places that you can go to. There's a place called Anini, which has a beautiful, 7 lake trek, which a lot of people are now, getting interested in. So Arunachal is basically this melting pot, of tribes and cultures and cuisine and clothing and everything. And today I want to talk about this particular area, which is the Namsai district, where we host holidays which are very, very distinctive. Now, what are the experience that you can get in this part, and what are the tribes you would be able to see in these parts? So there's a tribe called the Khamti tribe. Now, Khamtis are basically Buddhists, and their origins are somewhere in the Burma region. Then there is a tribe called the Tangsas. Now, the Tangsas are basically from Nagaland, which is, a state that borders Arunachal. So they have their origins in Nagaland. They're Naga people, but now they are settled in Arunachal. Then you will come across a tribe called the Singphos, Singpho. And these Singphos are again a very distinctive tribe with a very distinctive community, festival, and they have their origins in Burma. So there is also, a tribe called the Liso tribe, which is very, very lesser known. Again, it borders, they have a couple of villages in one part of Arunachal. There is a tribe which is called Nocte. Again, you'll be able to see a couple of Nocte people in this region. Again, they have their origins in Nagaland, but they now live in Arunachal. So when you talk about, when I say that this part of Arunachal is really, really exciting and worth going to, it is because you get to meet and interact with easily 4 or 5 tribes, and at the cost of sounding repetitive, these tribes are all distinctive because they have their own clothes, they have their own culture, they have their own cultural program, they have their own cuisine, and they have their own languages. The most interesting thing about Arunachal is that out of the 26 tribes which are recognized by the government of India, only 2 of the tribes are trying to get a written script. And the Tangsas happen to be one of them. So they're working on a written script. Otherwise, everything, all their culture and all their understanding of who they are, where they come from, their genealogy, and everything is currently oral. So it's a like I said, a treasure trove of experiences. And in terms of exciting places in Arunachal, where which would be great for tourism, is this part that I'm talking about. There are several, and now thankfully, due to investment by the central government, they have excellent roads. They have a lot of infrastructure, and some parts of Arunachal are still a bit inaccessible, but most of them are basically, that you can land at an airport, and you can just drive 100 kilometers and reach there. I would say one of the most, the entire tourism in Arunachal is actually based on time of the year. So, based on what time of the year you want to travel, you can travel to a distinct part of Arunachal. So, for example, in February, the most distinctive part of Arunachal is the Namsai district, and we have a holiday that we host there. The Singpho community, the Singpho tribe, has its annual cultural festival, which is a dance that they perform, and this is held in one of the Singpho villages, which is part of, this part of Arunachal. Every year the venue changes, but the dates are fixed. It's usually on the 13th, 14th, and the 15th of February. And this year too, they have it on the 14th and the 15th of February. So here you will see this tribe, um, they're like uh, young, old, children, men, women, everyone turns up in their traditional clothes, in their traditional finery, and dances the entire day to a live band and live music. And that music is basically a prayer to their god. This cultural festival is called Shapawng Yawng Manau, and Shapawng Yawng is their god that they worship. And this entire cultural festival is held in, to pay obeisance to him. And you can imagine that in their colorful finery, they spend the entire day dancing around, the live band. And then they pay their obeisance to their god that they install for this particular, community dance. A lot like what you would see for Indians, this is some very easy to understand. A lot like what you would see in Gujarat, where during Navratri, the Gujaratis get together and play dandiya and garba. So it's pretty much similar to that, but the exciting thing really is that everyone, all the Singphos come together and they participate in this dance and they take a lot of pride in wearing their traditional clothes and, doing the traditional dance. Now, the traditional dance is also, there are particular steps. The music is very catchy. It's very, it's great to move to. So this is the highlight of, a trip to Arunachal, to this part in the month of February. If you want to go in the month of April, there's another part you can cover. If you want to go in the month of June, there's another part you can cover. If you want to go, maybe in August, there's another part you can cover. So Arunachal as a state has so much to offer in terms of tourism all year round. And based on your interest, based on the time that you want to travel, you can cover the whole state. Nearly it would take an entire year. So I hope it answers your question. You cannot cover Arunachal in a 10-day trip or a 15-day trip. The state is too vast. It has too much to offer. A lot of adventure activity, a lot of trekking, a lot of river rafting, and there's so much of culture, there's so much of richness. Tawang has a 600-year-old monastery. Tawang is also famous for because the His Holiness the Dalai Lama had escaped to India from Tibet from Tawang. He had entered India from Tawang. So there's also a historical significance. And there's just a whole lot happening in Arunachal. So, being the founder of this company, I have been to Arunachal 5 times already, and hopefully, I would be going on a sixth trip soon to be able to uncover yet another part, yet another tribe, and more and more experiences.